Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Oh, yeah.
This series, we are exploring something monumental.
Okay.
Every single presidential inaugural address.
Right.
And where do you start with a collection that vast? At the very beginning, of course.
Makes sense.
So buckle up as we fire up the time machine and set the dial for April 30th, 1789,
Wow.
New York City.
Big Apple.
George Washington is about to become the first president of a brand new nation.
Huge.
And joining us for this deep dive is Dr. Almeyda, who can give us some extra context on this pivotal moment. Think of Dr. Almeyda as a data detective. He can spot patterns and connections that most people would miss.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you, some of his findings are truly mind-blowing.
Oh, they are.
Okay, let's set the stage with some fascinating stats Dr. Almeyda uncovered about all the inaugural addresses.
Okay. So the legal voting age on every election day, get this, was 21 until Woodrow Wilson's second term.
So for the first 128 years of American history, you couldn't vote if you were under 21.
Nope. 1917, that's when it changed.
Wow.
Imagine being 18 today and being told, nope, you have to wait 3 more years to have your voice heard.
Yeah.
That'd cause an uproar. It's incredible how much our understanding of citizenship has changed.
It really makes you think about how different things were back then and how those first few generations of voters shaped the early years of America.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it also reveals a fascinating trend. Dr. Almeyda found that the age gap between the oldest and youngest eligible voters has steadily increased throughout history. During Washington's first election, there was no difference, 0 years. But by Biden's election in 2020, the gap had exploded to a whopping 41 years.
That's a huge difference. What's driving that trend?
Well, it's directly tied to increasing average life expectancy. As people live longer, the age range of eligible voters naturally expands. But what's really interesting is how these demographic shifts might have influenced the content of those inaugural addresses.
Right. Did presidents tailor their messages to appeal to a wider range of ages? Did the issues they focused on change as the electorate evolved?
Yeah.
This is like piecing together a historical puzzle.
Exactly. But that's not all. Dr. Almeyda took his analysis a step further and used artificial intelligence to analyze the emotions woven into each inaugural address.
Wait, you can actually quantify the emotions in each speech?
It's called sentiment analysis.
Tell me more, because this sounds incredible.
It is. Sentiment analysis goes beyond simply labeling emotions as positive or negative. It's like having a digital microscope to examine the nuances of language.
Oh, okay.
We can track the subtle shifts in tone, identify the specific words and phrases that contribute to the overall emotional impact of each speech.
So it's not just about identifying whether a speech is happy or sad. It's about understanding the layers of meaning behind the words.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
For example, in Washington's first address, the dominant emotion detected was joy.
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
It was the birth of a new nation. There must have been so much optimism and excitement in the air. But what's really revealing is how the frequent use of words like unity and harmony reinforce that joy, painting a vivid picture of Washington's vision for a united nation.
I love how the data brings those emotions to life.
Now, as you might expect, the emotional landscape shifts in later addresses. Speeches delivered during times of war or economic hardship, like Lincoln's second inaugural, delivered during the Civil War, show a rise in negative emotions like anger or sadness.
That makes sense. Those must have been incredibly challenging times for the nation.
But what's fascinating is that some of the most memorable speeches are those that skillfully blend both positive and negative emotions, connecting with the audience on a deeply human level.
Yeah.
Think of those speeches delivered during challenging times. They had to acknowledge the anxieties of the nation, while also inspiring a sense of unity and resilience.
Right, like finding that balance between acknowledging reality but also offering hope.
Exactly. It's about leadership in its truest sense, understanding the mood of the people and guiding them toward a shared vision of the future.
Okay, so we've got this incredible foundation of data and emotional analysis. Are we finally ready to dive into Washington's first inaugural address?
Absolutely. Let's travel back to 1789 and see what the first president had to say.
Let's take a quick break. Want to equip your child with the skills of top global consultants? Don't let them fall behind. Raising Tomorrow's Leaders, The Consultant's Mindset by Dr. Jareau Almeyda is your guide to fostering essential skills in your children for their lifelong success. Available now on Amazon. Okay, welcome back.
All right, let's do it. Washington's address was delivered on April 30th, 1789. What's the first thing that jumps out at you?
Well, for starters, it was incredibly short, under 1,500 words.
Seriously. That's shorter than some of my emails.
I know, right?
I guess they didn't have Twitter back then to distract people with endless threads.
Exactly. This conciseness actually speaks volumes about the communication style of the time, where brevity was valued. It also emphasizes the weight each word carried, directly addressing the immediate concerns of the newly formed nation.
Wow, that really puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
Every word must have mattered.
And to understand those words even better, our AI analysis combined with Dr. Almeyda's expertise has identified some key concepts that run throughout the speech. Terms like form of government, public good.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Washington was essentially laying the groundwork for a new nation, establishing its core values and principles.
Precisely. But it's also interesting to note that even the word present appears quite often.
Present. What could be the significance of that?
That's a great question. Dr. Almeyda suggests it signifies Washington's focus on the immediate challenges facing the nation, emphasizing the need for unity and action in the here and now.
Ah, okay.
He understood that the success of this new nation depended on the collective will and action of its citizens, starting right then and there.
So he wasn't just looking ahead to some distant future, but really addressing the concerns of the people in that very moment.
That's right. He was calling for action, for unity, for a shared commitment to building a nation together. And remember, this is all within that concise 1,500-word speech. It's incredible how much he conveys in so few words.
It really speaks to the power of focused communication.
Indeed. And speaking of powerful communication, let's take a look at the emotional tone of the address. Our analysis, those digital microscopes we talked about, suggests that Washington's tone was predominantly excited and satisfied. It's like he couldn't wait to get started. He was excited about the possibilities and satisfied with the work they had done to get to that point.
Yeah, he was excited about the possibilities and satisfied with the work they'd done to get to that point.
You hit the nail on the head. You can almost hear the optimism in his words. He truly believed in the potential of the United States and was eager to embark on this grand experiment of self-government.
But I imagine there must have been some apprehension as well, right? Starting a new nation is no small feat.
Of course, any leader in that position would feel some anxiety. But the dominant sentiment in this speech is one of hope and determination. He acknowledges the challenges, but emphasizes the strength and resilience of the American people.
So he's striking a balance between acknowledging the realities they faced and projecting confidence in their ability to overcome them. That's powerful leadership.
It is. And that theme of balancing realism with optimism, that's something we'll see recurring throughout our deep dive into these inaugural addresses.
I can't wait to see how that theme evolves as we move through history. This is just the beginning of our journey through the words and emotions of America's presidents.
We've got a lot more speeches to analyze, a lot more data to uncover, and a lot more insights to share.
Until then, keep diving deeper, exploring further, and always be curious.